Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to another episode of the Virtual Stars Podcast, 5th season. Be sure to like and subscribe. Enjoy this amazing episode because it's the End of Year Extravaganza with many of my podcast friends. Welcome to the show, guys.
All right. Well, I'm Kurt Sasso, host of Two Geeks Talking. Two Geeks Talking is an entertainment industry interview show where we interview the creative people from the comic, film, TV, movie, and video game industries. And of course, I've been doing this since 2008. We are at an amazing end of year show roundtable, as we always do here on, of course, Traversing the Stars. But it's been a wonderful year overall, and I can't wait to hear how everyone else's year went because 2026 is going to be probably a real banger. So, on to you there, Barney.
All right, yeah. So my name is Barney Smith, and I'm a host of three podcasts. I'm host of the Storycomic Presents, and I'm host of We Make Children's Books, and I'm host of the Vermont Artists and Authors, and I am also a Leo, and I like long walks on the beach.
Wrong show.
Yes, I am also a Leo, actually, and I host Words, Images, and Worlds. It's a literacy show, anything media literacy related. We talk to authors, comics creators, artists, scholars, actors, the occasional fellow podcast host. So all are welcome. It's a friendly show, and I also occasionally jump in on Traversing the Stars as well as Dollar Bin Bandits. And I don't walk on the beach for a long time because I burn easily in the sun, as this sort of upper lighting might indicate. But I'm there for it. I mean, maybe an evening walk.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Like I said, you have all been on before. All helped guest hosted for me before as well. So that's always been appreciated from everybody. I honestly think eventually I'm going to retire, let you guys do my show for me. I
Nope.
think that's how we should do things.
Nope.
So, guys, tell me about your year. What made it special? Kurt, we'll start with you.
Well, my year was rather short, to be honest, because I was working in the TV and film industry as a DIT, digital imaging technician, backing up footage for a good chunk of my year. So I only had 35 interviews this year. I know, shocker, because I normally get at least 50 something, but a lot more musicians, a lot more authors this time around rather than comic creators. Still had some of those. I interviewed an associate conductor for the Naruto Symphony Orchestra, which was an amazing interview there. And I just did a year-end recap video that's like an hour and a half long of just snippets, including roundtables we've had with Isolde and Rena and all those people in our other mastermind group, as well as just a bunch of other things I collected over the years. So honestly, it's been a fairly successful year overall. I can't wait for 2026. I already have a few interviews lined up for January, and I will be still working in the TV and film industry next year as well too. So we'll see how many interviews I get through this time around. So I can't wait to see what happens.
Very cool. Let's start with Barney.
So I published my third book in my dad joke trilogy. Like Daddest Jokes is out. You can, I don't want to, tell people you can buy it online, but go to your local bookstore and request it and have them order it for you. Or go to your local library and request the book, and then the library will buy it and order it for you. And so, yeah, so Dad Jokes, Dadder Jokes came out a couple years, and I was on your shows. We talked and cross promoted that. And then Daddest Jokes came out. And the reason why I had a Kickstarter set up for, and the reason why I decided not to just go with the Kickstarter for is because of all the time and energy it takes me to do that just to raise like maybe $30 to put it in my pocket. It's just easier for me to like spend that energy and just, like work. The other big news that happened. I don't know if Kurt and Jeff, if you guys know, how much you follow me online, and is so as you know, about 3 years ago, I bought a radio station,
Mhm.
and the last of this past year, I ended up buying a newspaper as well.
All right.
So I am now I am now full on into the local media landscape, and I'm having a blast with that. And I've realized that it's using a lot of my creative energies and doing stuff like that has put me into the place where I've been very good at making sure my podcast has something happening every week. And I've realized that since I've been doing it for almost episode 500, I've people reach out to me now, which makes it a heck of a lot easier having to like find people to come on my show. So, and yeah, and I'm still, drawing pictures and having fun. So yeah. Yeah.
Very cool, Jason.
It was a wonderful year. There were a lot of developments on the teaching side. I continue to teach the young people. That's my day job, and so they're mostly nice to me. No one threw anything heavy at me, so this is good. I have been kind of working the circles of going to conventions. I got to go to San Diego Comic-Con this year for the first time and do a panel for a book I did about graphic novels and empathy and critical literacy. So I did that. Went to a convention in Denver, Colorado as well for NCTE. I worked on a collection of teacher resources to go with a comic series called Great Immigrants, Great Americans. And in the world of podcasting, which I continue to enjoy doing, I got to talk with Todd McFarlane this year. That was a wonderful conversation. Very, very nice
I was gonna
guy.
hit you for that one.
Yeah, yeah, very, very good get. Was invited to the Dollar Bin Bandits, so I'm currently working with them. And let's see, a few voices that have also been on Traversing the Stars. So William B. Davis came on the show, Armin Shimmerman, John Billingsley, and just a host of others, a host of others. So we continue to, do the things and talk about the things, and lots of great reads this year too. I enjoyed Batman Revolution and some work from Stephen Graham Jones. Discovered Ronald Malfi this year, so just continuing to share the book love too.
Nice.
Well, I think it sounds like you guys have more interesting year than I've had, maybe. I've just completed my fourth season. I'm now into my fifth season, which is kind of excited. I honestly, I think it happened at the end of last year, but I crossed my 1,000 subscriber mark, which was kind of nice. Me and Kurt, I think we both did around the same
Yeah.
time. So that was pretty exciting. Getting a bunch of cool guests. I just had, like Robin Curtis was on the show just a little while ago. That was really cool. And I finally got back into the world of Star Trek. Got accepted to a press junket in about 2 weeks for Star Trek, so I'm pretty excited about that. Had some people from Transformers on, so I've been able to geek out about, from the 1980s. Had talk 86 Transformers movie with the writer and everything else. So it's been a good year of getting. I feel like the guests are beginning to move back up. I felt like I had a little bit of a plateau right around after the writer strike. Everything seemed to slow down, and now it feels like things are picking back up again. So yeah, it's been an exciting year. Broke some viewership records for me for a month. Um, so that felt pretty good. So yeah, so all things being equal, it's been a nice year. So for you guys, what have you learned new from this year? Like, what have you think you've walked away with and thought, I've either become better at this, I learned not to do this, or I've learned some other important fact that's now ready to put into motion next year.
I'll go okay. So I know the last 2 years we've been doing this, we've always been talking about the dangers of AI. And I have realized that I and I Tony Stark had AI. It was called Jarvis. And we basically have our own Jarvises. I don't use it to I've been able to really find really good ways to utilize it to do like busy work instead of trying to find something that utilizing my creative energy. I've been utilizing my creative energy on the creative things and not having to utilize my creative energy to figure out a really good email header or figure out something along the lines of something that sticks out for um, doing sending me some links to places to research, stuff like that. I'm still very adamant on making sure that you would never use AI to replace creative endeavors, but using it to actually help out to do uh, busy work, like setting up schedules to when's the best time to send out this email, that kind of stuff. And I've realized it's definitely helped. I've been able to spend more time on doing more of my side projects, some of the books I've been working on, to do that instead of spending all my energy on responding to emails all the time. So I've realized it's been very good. So that's something that I've learned is um, utilizing the everyday tools of menial, I would say, like menial, like labor. Utilizing that has made things a lot more streamlined for me. And I would say also this past year, uh, I've learned a lot more about what it means to take your passion seriously and being able to, because right now we're at a point that I've noticed is that we're at a point now where, like, the four of us where we are now, especially where it comes to like the podcasting world, we've seen podcasts become a new respected medium when it comes to audio entertainment and places where people can be informed, educated, and entertained is through podcasts. Before it was just uh, I mean, my grandmother, my mother knows what podcasts are. So we're in a point where we're in a new golden age of where what podcasts are. But the point is, like, how do you stay above the noise? And you got to realize that you have to figure out what those tools are that they're utilizing, and make sure that at the end of the day, people are flipping through their iPhones or flipping through to find a good podcast. And how do you combat the best ways to stay above the noise? And a lot of that's going to be through figuring out to use AI to our advantage. So, yeah.
You owe me $5, Jeff.
You guys talking about I'm going to bring up AI again?
Yes, I literally said on the show, he goes, "You think Barney's going to bring up AI?" And he's like, "I think he's going to bring up AI." I was like, he did.
He did. Totally, man. I tell you, man. It's like I probably 2 years ago been talking about this.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I was like, what did I learn? I learned that Barney's gonna talk about AI. It's gonna happen, man.
We know that's a consistent factor here. So,
well, no, I mean, I wonder. Do you think it is possible that Barney is part AI and that it's going to take ChatGPT taking control of his word? It's like, you know what? I need to play myself just a little bit.
I mean, I think he's a Warren Buffett GPT or something like that when it comes to the media moguls that he's working on. But that's neither here nor there.
You guys never met me in person. I could very well be Max Headroom as far as you know. So.
That's possibly true. I mean, has anyone actually met the real Barney? No one has, right? I mean,
we've seen supposed AI videos of him in his backyard or whatever. So, I mean,
anyhow, we're all cyborg at this point.
Yeah,
all cyborg.
That's true. Jason may not be. I mean, none of you could be actually. I might be the only real person among us. That's why I have the shitty background.
But are you?
Are you?
If I was AI, my sound would be better. My video quality would be better. That's what I've learned. I've learned that my sound quality of my show is not great, and my video quality is not great, and both should be repaired at one day when I have money. So I determined improve the show, get the money, but get the money to improve the show. So it's an odd cycle that I now exist within, like the South Park gnomes, where it's like, what was it? Get underwear, something, profit. That's kind of where I am right now. Get a show, something, profit. I haven't figured out the rest. All right, Chris, what have you learned?
That paying gigs when TV and film pay more than podcasting.
Everything does.
It's been unfortunate only because I've had to like reschedule and I've had to cancel a few interviews, only mostly free interviews to be perfectly honest, because I was working every single weekend for like 4 months straight. Not much I can do about that. The good news about what I learned is that I've been improving my technical side of things when it came to the DIT side of things. So from a professional standpoint, I'm learning the craft that I went to school for. It just took like 10 to 8 years or whatever it was. But it's been wonderful that way. From a podcast standpoint, I think doing more shows as a guest, that's one thing I wanted to keep doing. I wanted to just get away from being on this side of the microphone as a host, I wanted to become a guest on other people's shows. One, just to keep myself a little more fresh, just to give myself a little bit of a break, I think, as well too. So I think I was on like 4 or 5 shows this year. Some really good interviews that I had, a couple in Germany, one in India, and then a few other places, I think, as well too. So that was pretty interesting. And then I think what it came down to was, from an interviewing side of things as a host, still being on top of the research, still being able to ask questions on the fly with, if the guest said something that kind of sparked another question. I think active listening is a huge factor, and something that we almost forget about it when it comes to this side of things, because we have our list of questions, and it's just like, dare I deviate from said list of 10, 15 questions to spark spontaneity of asking said question. So being not afraid to push the questions aside, to ask the question you want to ask, is another thing that I think that we can all learn from. So little things here and there. I mean, I know the show, like I got up to 1,083 subscribers, so that's cool. My watch hours are in the toilet like usual, and I just, now it's a matter about, okay, who's the next guest and how can I promote it, and can my skills help them in some way, shape, or form from a creative standpoint. So,
all right, Jason, what you got?
Yeah, I think everything we do, we all have this life that we live behind our lovely backgrounds. And so a lot of what I've learned this past year and really tried to focus on is just the moments of joy, the things that bring me joy. And I think that if that's something that is part of the show or part of the work that I do, that's uh, wonderful and something I want to be part of. I think just reflecting on kind of what has gotten me into the world of podcasting and writing and balancing those couple of worlds is the fandom and the way fandom carries through. And one of the reflections I've had this year is just how important like friends or communities or families are with fandom. I mean, usually there's somebody in your life. As we were talking before we hit record, Barney and I went to high school together. Very, very little known fact. He still has my He-Man T-shirt. We didn't really, but there are those elements of fandom and community that connect people, and more so. I mean, you meet your people that aren't as friendly, but more so often than not, people are friendly. They want to get their voices out there and share about what they're doing, and I'm kind of coming on that side of it of being more comfortable sharing about what I write and do as well. So there's that kind of symmetry to it that's really nice.
Hmm. Well, I'll say for me, I don't know if I'm learning something or I'm realizing. It's probably more realizing than learning, since I'm too stupid to learn. No, probably more realizing. I have realized that I do need to become better at promoting myself individually. Like I have a Kickstarter coming on in February, and like usually for my guests, I get like 30 interviews for it. For me, I have up to like one to schedule, because it's like, I don't know. It feels weird to promote myself like directly, so I'm trying to get used to that. And realizing that I have to be as much of a cheerleader for myself as I am for my clients. Because like my clients, I'll post like all the time, every single day. I post all over social media. Look, this is the best combo. You gotta buy it. And for me, I'll post like maybe once a week or so. I'm like almost like shyly like, hi guys, I'm still doing this. So I gotta get used to that. Um, but as I said, I think it's the same thing I say like every year, so it's not learning, maybe realizing, it's that still trying to ride the wave of podcasting, right? The lows are low, the high are high. That kind of thing where you're like, oh, everyone loves my show, I am the best. And then like the next episode tanks, and you're like, everyone hates me. So it's trying to ride that wave a little bit better. Trying to learn to be more social outside the podcast. I kind of feel like I have like 3 points of being social. Well, two. I mean, I have work, I have my wife, I'm mostly social with, and I do my podcast. Outside that, I'm not very good at being part of the community. So I got to learn more to like get myself up and be like, hey, great show, well done, blah blah blah. So that's something else I got to learn, because that community is important, because we all do um, connect with the fans with each other, and we do become more human than talking heads on a podcast. So I'm trying to learn that as well. but it's not easy. The one thing I am learning, and I think will be that the next question is the changing landscape of social media and podcasting is changing rapidly. I'm finding that the world is way different now than even was 2 years ago or 1 year ago, as far as viewingship habits. Um, I'm finding shorts are actually getting me more viewing views and minutes than the actual show itself in many ways, and that's unfortunate. So, how are you guys navigating the changing social media and viewership landscape?
I think,
Let's go with Jason first.
but I got to ask you, Jeff, why don't you like your own posts? You never do.
Why don't I like my own posts? Because
Mhm.
that's something that's kind of like that's I don't know something like narcissistic. I like my own posts. I can't. I feel like I don't want to be like that guy. You know, I feel like that's being like that guy who is like, I am wonderful. I like that. It's like, yeah, I
But
said it. Of course, I like it.
someone's gonna click on a link that has one like compared to zero likes. Just saying,
But then they're gonna notice that I'm liking my own shit. That it's
doesn't
me liking
matter.
it. No,
What they're gonna take 30 extra seconds to see you liked your own post. Who cares?
I don't know. Like I said, it kind of feels like someone who's like just like dancing in your own end zone. You know, it's like, yeah, it's your job. Of course, you did the post. You're gonna like it. You know, you guys. How about you? Are we liking our own stuff or not liking our own stuff? Barney,
Yes,
Jason.
100%.
So I I I would say I don't. So Jason, so I don't know. I know Jeff lives in Rhode Island. I live in Vermont. We're New Englanders. New Englanders by default. I don't know if it's just thing. We just don't brag about ourselves, and this is a huge flaw about being from New England. We are trained by generations is to always be humble and never brag about yourself. And I've noticed the same thing, Jeff. I gotta say I do that, but I know it's bad business to not like your own posts, especially when you're literally fighting for millisecond eyes with billions of other things that are popping up every millisecond that you have to fight against the beast to actually promote your own piece. And
Now,
that's all about promoting. I don't do it either, and I know I should.
well, I
And
will
I
say
don't.
I do like my post my videos for my podcast. I will hit the like on YouTube, the like and view because give that first like. That I will admit that I will do that, but my own post on social media, nah. It's like it's
It's
there. I
not.
know they're there, but I don't ever do it.
I mean, so you guys know that I post a dad joke every day. I always post a dad joke, and I the research I try to find one that I haven't done before. And if I was smart enough, I would actually put a link to my dad joke books on the comment section. If you notice, the new thing that people do now is like put something and say, full article in comments like
Mhm.
read
Yeah.
comment below because that how people are understanding how the algorithms work. And the thing is like you have to stay ahead of it all the time because it used to be hashtags. Now it's not hashtags. Now it's going to be, there's always something new. And the point of it being, and this is what it gets down to, like watching a lot of these branding podcasts and stuff like this, is like you don't make your money on your subscribers on YouTube. You don't make your money you make your money on creating your own brand and you promote your brand and you utilize your medium, whatever that may be, to help promote that brand of whatever it is. So it's like you're not making, like I said, my wife has 7,000 subscribers. She gets maybe a check of $50 a month from YouTube. Like you're not living off of that.
Right.
But
Right.
so the point of it is like instead of chasing those numbers, making sure that you're utilizing, you got to find your audience and engage with your audience. It's the consistency and then engaging with your audience. And your audience is is it better to have 1,000 subscribers that never look at your posts or have 20 rabid supporters that always are cross sharing your information?
I mean, I
So
wouldn't mind 20 rabid supporters. I don't know if I have 20 rabid supporters. I have almost 1,300 subscribers. I don't know how many of them are rabid, but I could use a few more. So if anyone wants to be a rabid supporter of me, I will take any sycophants that want to align with my world to go ahead and do it. But I don't mind 20 at this point. So, all right. So, Jason, how are you dealing with the changing landscape of what we do?
I'll close out or kind of continue that conversation just by saying I'm having a full circle, like planes, trains, and automobiles moment where I'm like, maybe I should like me. I should like me. I'd never thought about it that way, but as a signal to the universe that yes, I like John Candy, like me. Yeah, I think this could be a new direction. This could be a new thing. As far as navigating the changes in the landscape, I try to stay away from anything that is polarizing in any particular way, not because I'm opposed to that, but just because that's not really, as you were talking about the brand, there's not really anything that I want to say there anymore. I kind of feel like it's all been said multiple times, and there are more positive directions to go in. I also recognize that I am a teacher. I'm a middle-aged man. There are certain aspects of social media that I want to engage with. There are certain aspects that I don't know that a Jason TikTok, a words, images, worlds TikTok is the direction that I want to go in. I was talking with Scott Snyder about this at a convention and talking about, where are those places where the people are, and that seems to be more the direction. So I'm definitely not jumping on to every trend or everything that's happening, but I try to be smart about it and try to be thoughtful about where stuff appears and what groups I'm part of and those kind of things. Not necessarily jumping to Snapchat or TikTok anytime soon. I'll leave that for the young people that I teach, but still on Facebook. I really like Blue Sky. I like the way Blue Sky is laid out, and I like the connections that can happen there. But it still seems to be something that's kind of churning along. And I still have Threads, but what do I do with Threads? I don't know.
No
It
one knows
keeps
what to do.
notifying me that things are happening, but it's kind of interesting to follow that path. So I stick with the areas that connect me with people and where I might get my He-Man t-shirt back at some point. We'll see. We'll see.
At this point, you might be more lucky to go to a garage sale than to get it back from Barney. I mean,
That's true, but it has my sweat stains. It has all of that. Anyway, I digress. I digress.
How about you, Kurt?
I think for me, it's because I've been doing shorts for a while. It's more of it's a great way to get a short burst of audience and eyes on your channel. When I interviewed Connor McCreary and Jabola Fabinier for Fella Music is the Weapon, their graphic novel about Fela Kuti, I did a ton of shorts with the content that was created with that. A lot of the comments, and this is the most comments that I've had on shorts in the 3 or 4 years I've been putting them together, were like, I'd never heard of this person before. I'm now looking into him and I'm a huge fan. Even though he passed away in 96, but his music lives on. So getting comments, getting interactions and reactions and getting that dopamine effect of people actually liking the shorts you created. This is wonderful. This is awesome. This is great. And then you post one and it gets like the standard TikTok 200 jail views. And then it's like, I'm horrible at this. Why am I doing this? I just wasted 10 hours putting this together. But if the message is consistent, if the content is consistent, you're doing your brand as consistent as you can, then you're still moving in a positive step forward in terms of how you're creating your content. And I still think shorts are a great way to, if you have time, shorts are a great way to get out a single snippet about a long format interview you have. And if you can do that for every single interview, you're going to be that much more ahead of the person that just posted an interview. So,
and I gotta say too, real quick, Kurt, is that you can tell that you put some really good energy and skill and time on your shorts. It's not an AI generated chopped one thing. You can tell that yours is like really skillfully done.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. No, it is. And that's why I spend as much time as I do on the audio editing, on making sure that's clean. That helps the overall message as well, too. So we're just here in a small snippet of time to enjoy what we do and then have guests on that enjoy, hopefully, speaking to us. And maybe they'll appear on again.
Well, I would say I'm gonna with shorts for me for YouTube shorts anyway.
Mhm.
It's nice, a little depressing, but nice. Like I'll because you do a regular interview, right? I decided I did the math. Roughly speaking, it's about 4 hours per interview. Is how much time it takes to prepare. Because when you do the interview itself, prepping for the interview, getting the interview, promoting the interview, let's say it's about 4 hours. Editing the interview, about 4 hours.
Hmm.
Shorts take me about 20 minutes. So in shorts, I'm getting like a 1,500 views on my 40-second short. Then I do the main interview got like 50 views. It's like Jesus Christ. It's like what's the president like? Did like in 10 minutes I got more views from doing this short than I did the actual interview. But I kind of feel like that is the direction audiences are going in.
Yeah.
People, I mean, the algorithm loves shorts now on YouTube, and they're just devouring the shorts and they're liking the shorts. The main interviews just don't get that kind of same attention. I mean, I have posted like promo vids from from my clients on shorts, and they'll do really well with views. The same promo you stick on a regular same length, regular YouTube, 10 views, 11 views, 12 views, and you're like, Jesus Christ! But the world apparently is now existing in 1 minute bites.
Well,
And I'm
and
going
that
over in.
sorry, I just interrupt, but that actually translates into the TV and film industry as well, and I'll tell you why. There was a huge wave of TV and film called verticals. That's the format. It's called verticals, and it's literally done in a span of 3 days. It is filmed horizontal, but it's edited vertical. So every single person is every single chapter, every single page is just a single 1 minute snippet, and they'll churn these out by the thousands and get every single thing done and post it, and it'll generate buzz, it'll generate interest, and you'll see them on TikTok stories and Instagram and all of these other social media platforms, which you should be posting your shorts to. Doesn't matter if it's the exact same content as YouTube, just post it to every single other social media platform, and your brand will grow in that respect too. That's something you still need to do there, Jeff. Just saying.
Well, I mean, wait. You mean posting on TikTok? You mean, or what do you mean?
Post that exact same short or preview or whatever that you created from YouTube. Post it on your Instagram. Post it on your Facebook.
Oh,
Post it on your etc. However many other social medias you have. That is how you get the message out there. But which is what you still need to do. And
I
then
mean,
a link back to your interview.
I'm using TikToks for the short, but and I post the video. I mean, the link to it on Instagram, but I don't know what you mean by posting the actual episode on Facebook.
No. Take that preview. Take that short you've created
Yeah,
for YouTube. You've posted it on YouTube.
yeah.
Okay. Now you're going to take it to Facebook. You're going to post it as a reel. Now you're going to take that same story. You're going to post that to Instagram as a story. Now you're going to take that and post it into TikTok. Now you post it into 4 different platforms with 4 different audience members with the same description and or hashtags because other social media platforms use those. And now you have completely different audiences gravitating towards your main interview.
Hmm. Well, one thing I did learn that it's helping a little bit is we do shorts. You click on the related video.
Mhm.
That helps a little bit, but I do think somehow the algorithm kicks that out just a little bit. I think, but I've been doing that. But I do feel like the audience right now is basically 1 minute of attention span at this
Mhm.
point. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
So
100%.
so keep in mind is that every social media platform, we are the product that it's selling. Is and it the and what they need to do is make sure that there's enough eyes. People are going to be on their platform, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, that the algorithm, there's not a man sitting behind a desk that decides this. It's based off of how long somebody watches and hovers over your video in order for that to keep being showing up on other people's feeds. So that's where it comes down to the fact is like we are being used by businesses, social media businesses, to keep people on. So you have to fight fire with fire. You need to make sure that your 1 minute video is just as flashy, just as exciting as the next person, because they're watching something about some science guy, maybe it's a kid deciding to like, I'm gonna blow up a balloon and stick it in a microwave, and then like, well, what's gonna happen? I'm really, what's gonna happen with this? So there's always a bunch of these videos, and then there's a lady that's in a bikini, you know, I don't know, washing dishes. I don't know. Then it gets into like, then you're going to see this one about, oh, there's a satellite in space and what's happening to it. And then it's going to switch over to you talking to somebody. And they're like, flip, like they just like, so what can we do as interviewers and podcasters to keep the engagement on there? And that's where it comes down to the fact that we do have a product, and keep in mind, and I was talking about this a couple of years ago, we have an extensive product base of conversations we have with people that people want to hear talk. So how do you utilize grabbing some of those old, it doesn't matter, Jeff, if they had an interview 3 years ago with somebody, pull it back up and then utilize a way to pop that up and have that show up in an algorithm. If it's Patrick Stewart's birthday and or whatever, some sort of Star Trek thing, repurpose an old interview. We have a large library of product, which is thousands of hours of conversations that we have. Nobody else has that. So how do we capitalize on what products we already have in our store, basically?
Kind of the affordance of like a sorry, like a historical archive kind of. And I'm thinking about film, like how much more likely am I to sit and engage with a 2 hour film that I haven't seen a 1 minute preview of?
Well, I will
Much.
say, well, I'll say this. As much as my wife wants to see it, Avatar 315 minutes for the third one may not, it's a deterrent. That is a deterrent. I mean, I will say 3 hours it may be my limit of what I can handle sitting down. But far as I think social media is, I do think the viewing is shorter. Though my understanding is from YouTube, the viewership is shorter, but it favors longer content as far as using the algorithm. That's how I've understood it. What do you guys think?
It's sort of like that, but they keep flipping back and forth every 6 months, every year, whatever. Like at one point when they were pushing short form content 2 or 3 years ago heavily, uh, the views I had were great. I mean, I was getting 2,000, 3,000 plus per short content I was creating, and that was 1 minute long. As time went on, though, 30 seconds seemed to be like that average limit that people were engaging with. Looking at my analytics, I was getting between 30 and 50% viewership, and then they would be swiping off. Or some videos would be like 70% viewership and then 30% swiping off. So was it an editing factor? Was it a graphic factor? Was there some interest that I had with another piece of content versus what I created with something else?
Well,
You're at a guessing game at that point.
well, I will say that this is also a little depressing for me. So every so often, just for the sake of it, I post a short of one of my cats, with my kitten, and the fact that that blows away my views of the actual show I'm trying to do, it's so depressing. Because my kid is adorable. She's like 5 months old, and I'll put like here's a video of her playing with my dog. 2,000 views. I'm just like, son of it's like 100% of viewership. I was like, then I do like this 4 hour thing of this guy who I read the comment, I read the books to prepare for. I set these hard questions, these good questions. I put all the energy, and it's like nowhere near the power of a cute kitten video. It's so depressing.
You're going to lose over animals 100% of the time.
And And so here's something too that I just recently learned as well. The reason why we see algorithms and new ways changing basically every 3 months is um, is because the stockholder reports happen quarterly. So they look back on what's working, what's not working, look at what their competitors are doing, and that's why they always shift and change. And if you see that one social platform is staying on top of everything, it means they probably are. They're not going to change they're not going to change how they do things. That's why you've seen. That's why we talked earlier about how hashtags were big at one point. Then a short form content, but then, and now like we mentioned in YouTube, YouTube cannot compete with TikTok. So they're like, you know what? TikTok can't compete with long form content. So why don't we just, it's called the uncommon service model, is be really good at one thing and be unabashedly mediocre at other stuff. So they're sticking to what they want to do, but where's the audience? So you have to figure out where your audience is and then double down on where that is. Because, like we're talking about the uncommon service model, I'm not a, you know what? I closed my Twitter account a long time ago. I'm not on Twitter. And so where are my viewers at? Where are the people that want to see my stuff? They're on podcasts. I have a generation that's a lot of the stuff that I do is Gen X and older because I interview a lot of authors that write about mystery books and all this stuff and like things that happen. This guy that wrote a book about this memoir about a baseball coach. Like they're not on TikTok, so it's like so figure out where your audience is, and then double down on that platform too. So that's one of the things that I've been learning.
But it doesn't, that's going to change though constantly until the next new social media platform creeps up, et cetera. And then you're flipping over to yet another one. I mean, at the time Blue Sky came out, there was 7 other social media platforms we were all inundated with. And it got to the point of who and where do I post to? At some point, you're going to say, screw it. And you're just going to en masse spam every single platform you're on just to get eyes on something.
Right. And I would say too, I agree, but I also see that there's a point where generationally speaking, whatever social media platform started with that generation that was big, they kind of stick to it. For instance, generically speaking, I don't see a lot of Gen Zers on Facebook.
No.
They're on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of Gen Xers and baby boomers on Facebook, and they're not on TikTok. So it's just like and so I foresee in the year 2050, these middle-aged people, I'm on TikTok but then there's something else like, bro, you're not on Glob Block. That's the best thing ever. I mean, it goes right to the chip in your brain and you can just imagine everything and it's right there. Like everybody's going to stick to whatever they feel most comfortable doing. And it's habitual. I wake up in the morning, I flip up and just look at something on TikTok. Okay, that's pretty cool. Or like look at like Facebook. It's all habitual, the habits that you're creating, and you want to figure out where your audience is. It's not about where that so yeah.
Well, I'm saying talking about Jason, because Jason, you said you have found a love for Blue Sky, and I'm on Blue Sky,
Mhm.
I feel like there's literally zero interaction on Blue Sky. At least from I mean, I used to get when X was a thing, I used to do pretty good on X. You know, every once in a while I'll post something, I'll get 5, 10, 20 likes. Blue Sky feels like a ghost town to me, but you're finding that it's useful?
I find that I connect with like a core group there more than anything, and fellow creatives, things like that. Educators are part of my audience, and so connecting there for that group works. It's not an en masse platform, but I like the clean landscape of it more so as part of the design. So it's not ticking up numbers by any means, but it allows me to kind of like keep in touch. And in that way, it's kind of a secondary platform to other things that I'll use.
Well, I mean, I will say I feel like Hive is dead officially. I feel like Mastodon is dead officially. And there was another one I can't remember. That was like the liberal, like that was like the first big one after X. I can't remember what the name was, but it was supposed to be like the big like liberal TikTok. I can't remember what it was called, but that one seems to be dead. But
Right.
feels like I mean Blue Sky's trying. But I feel like social media has gotten extremely quiet, except for Instagram, which seems to still being doing well. But Instagram, from a promotion standpoint, kind of sucks unless you're just posting pictures. And then Reddit, God, what a fascist little fucking social media platform that became. You're like, you did not follow the rules, you are banned. It's like, shut the fuck up.
I've tried to post stuff on thing, and I've had interactions with, like, someone asks for Canadian podcasts, and I'm like, great, this is perfect. I know not to post a link to anything, but if I just say the name of my show, it should be pretty easy to search for. Also, it just happens to be, my username on Reddit. It's like, no, you can't do this. You're in violation of rule 26B / whatever. I'm
Right.
just like, what the? I didn't even, I can't promote something that he asked a question on. No, you're in violation of this rule.
Yeah, it's like I used to get so many good views from Reddit, and like but I'm now if banning site groups was if I could make money on that, I'd make so much money. Like I think I got banned by from Superman's Reddit. I think I got banned. I got banned from a bunch of others for like you posted a content promoting yourself. Like so, if I got Kurt to post my link, is that fair? Is that fair game? Because it's not mine. I mean, what kind of crazy ass rules do they have? But Reddit
Don't
is
get
like,
me banned.
huh?
Don't get me banned.
Oh, I totally would get you banned in a second, but if it gets me five more votes, I would get Kurt banned. But it's like this weird, like weirdly, like it's like this fascist basement dwelling like admin thing, and but I'll say it does that one does get views if you can get around the admin pet problem.
Mm.
Um, Instagram a little bit, but I feel like social media it's the landscape of it is so weird. Like TikTok, guess is where the views are, especially for the younger audience, but there's a lot this, but it's not conducive to selling your podcast. It gets you TikTok views, but TikTok views are not becoming YouTube views.
Yeah, it's that 200, 300 view jail that they've limited everyone to. That if you're not having a million subscribers on your channel on TikTok, you're not going to get any traction whatsoever, no matter what the influencers say you need to quote unquote do in order to get past the jail. But it's the same with YouTube. YouTube, before YouTube limited everything, and this was back in 2012, 2013, my content was getting 10,000, 20,000 views as a small podcaster. And these were just my video interviews, like 5 minute interviews with the person at a comic convention. I had one that was over 250,000 views, and it was just me interviewing Gavin Free from the Slow Mo Guys before he was the Slow Mo Guys in a Toronto bar, basically at what is not Ryerson University anymore. So it's just like if they opened the floodgates, I think they would get a lot more engagement. They get a lot more people in their creative labs getting monetized, but they just don't want to do that. So
Hmm. I would,
There's a whole. Oh, sorry. I was just going to add. Almost everybody I talk to that mentions Twitter or X says, "And I'm not on there anymore." So there's a whole like curation of your space kind of thing that happens too, and I feel like Twitter went away from that in a way, like allowing the audience to curate what they wanted to see, be part of, and who could sort of comment bomb them in a way. So there's the migration away from as well.
well, I'll say I mean, obviously, X experienced the Elon Musk effect, where most of us, I was going to cancel X. I must admit, I can't remember my passwords now to cancel my accounts, so they're just kind of like sitting there. But I feel that's like the Musk effect because a lot of people, such as and how I normally would be, would be, I mean, he's connected right now with a lot of negativity, and he did implode that social media network. And I feel like X has imploded virtually completely. Now there's still a few bots that are on there that are posting and reposting, but for the most part, I feel like most people just discard what X is now.
yeah, yeah. I mean that's why we shifted to Blue Sky. It was just clean, like Jason said there. It's like it's a cleaner platform. It's yeah, you have to rebuild your entire friend base and followers and everything like that. And yes, it's a pain in the ass, but you're at least getting content that you want to see. You're getting, if your interviews are comic creators, well, you link up with every single comic creator group, and
Well,
there's a list for that.
but
So
one thing I realized on Blue Sky I don't like. Apparently, Blue Sky people can add you to lists, and that pisses me off.
yeah, it's
And because
not that bad.
I remember because one list I found I didn't realize all about someone added me because I'm Jewish, right? And I
Mhm.
support Judaism. And they're like, I think I added to a genocide list for support
Oh
of
well, that's
genocide
not
because of
good.
the Jewish connection. I'm just like, what kind of bullshit is that? You should not be allowed to just add people to a list.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean that's just bullshit. But
there's got to be a
apparently,
setting.
And
huh?
I I would say too is that when it comes to the social media piece, I've not from my perspective, owning a local radio station and owning a local newspaper, we're getting a significant influx of more advertising in local media because how it works is that people don't trust what they see on the internet anymore. So we're at a point where it's just like, I don't that's why you mentioned Jason, like I'm getting out, like I'm not on it anymore. Like I've seen a lot of people leaving Facebook now. I've seen a lot of people leaving because they just don't trust and they just don't want to see hate, basically.
Right.
So it's, but what I do see a lot of people gravitating towards, like, say, for instance, on Facebook, is closed groups. They'll just like see what's happening on a group. So what happens is we're seeing it also as like a recreation of um, the idea of social media being seeing billions of things, but I just want to focus on this one thing. I just want to see this one group. So like one example, Jeff, is like, for instance, with the Star Trek stuff, is promoting your things on finding Star Trek Facebook groups. And it's like, hey, by the way, I didn't like talking to the admin and making sure, is it cool that I share that? Because you're creating like a microcosm of these communities. Because then what's going to happen is then you're going to see what used to happen 50 years ago, word of mouth, where people are like, I really want to find a good I really want to find a good podcast about Star Trek. Well, check out Traversing the Stars.
Mhm.
There's a guy, Jeff, he's on the Facebook group. You can ask him about it. He's been doing it. And it's just the slow burn of things. All of a sudden things just start picking up and picking up. And we're seeing that the idea of that we're basically doing a shotgun blast to see what am I gonna hit with doing things with social media. You're just hoping someone's gonna see something. But the thing is, like, you're going into an environment where billions of things are being posted every minute. Like, I can't even reemphasize the word billion. Like, we're completely lost in that. So that's where it has to, like, looking about think globally, act locally in a way. But the local isn't like going down the street in Providence, Rhode Island, but just like finding those specific groups of where your potential listeners are or viewers are, is like, just and like you just mentioned with Reddit, I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Check in with the admin of that group and say, is it cool if I post this? I do a podcast about Star Trek, and just finding that stuff and just finding that the local audience. And that's what I've been doing. I've been getting, it's like finding the local bookstores in Vermont, because like, hey, I just interviewed this author. Do you mind if I share this or that? And that's where it's it's picking it up by just thinking locally and just finding those local rabid followers.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We're just going back to the 80s style of,
Yeah.
marketing
About this.
approach.
Yeah. Zines. We're basically back into thinking about it from like social media zines instead of,
ICQ
um,
chat rooms, basically.
yeah, where where basically the internet, social media just did everything, and we're seeing a contraction happen now. Is And a lot of it comes down to the fact that people just don't trust the platforms anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of I really do feel like I wish I launched my podcast like 7 or 8 years earlier. Where when like I think like if you could launch it at COVID, it would have been a lot more successful. Because people were like all over social media, everything was like exciting. Now it like really just feel like it's a little bit more shouting into the abyss.
That hasn't changed. Like I've been doing this for like almost 19 years, man. Like it has not changed. You're still shouting to a abyss. It just you're on a different platform. You're on 7 different platforms shouting to the abyss. Your same message, the same style. Nothing has really changed other than you've improved in some way, shape, or form. But it doesn't get easier. You just have to keep doing it. Eventually, you're going to hit something. You're going to hit pay dirt. You're going to hit that group that loves your content, no matter if it's Star Trek or whatever, and they're going to keep coming back. And that's all we can really hope for as podcast hosts.
Well, well,
But
well,
it's
well, well,
still
well, I will say one thing that I've noticed as well. I don't know about you guys. There's been a contraction of podcasts as well. I feel like a lot of the podcasts I used to connect with for my clients are gone. They've
Mhm.
shut down. They've moved on. Less or new ones are popping up. What do you guys think?
I'd
That kind
be
of follows the zine trend too. I mean, something gets published for a while and then someone gets busy or they find that it's not exactly where they want it to be. But I mean, I've had that conversation in my mind of how long am I sharing content, and I think as long as I have people that are interested in sharing, That's kind of my limit on it because again, there's that like literacy sharing fandom part of it. It's that the brand or the story that you're telling and how long do you want to tell that story?
Hmm.
I myself as being a social person, you guys are bragging about 1,000. I'm excited that I get up to over 650 subscribers on YouTube. But then I realize that's not my side. Like I have 40,000 downloads on my podcast. People listen to the podcast because it's different. And I realized that if I was doing this to make money, I would have quit 3 years ago. I've been doing this now for over almost 5 years now. I started a little bit before COVID, and I do it because I've made really good friends. I'm looking at three of them right now.
Oh,
Jason, it's great to connect with you again, man. It's been years.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
so
would.
great.
It's weird because they always, stereotypically speaking, men in their middle ages stop making friends. Like it's like, and I've made more friends podcasting than I had in any other thing that I've done. And because there's a way is that you can be genuine with other folks. You have a state of curiosity and you learn more about yourself and you learn more about your passions. I've discovered a lot of stuff, a lot of IPs, and I've discovered a lot of other hobbies that I didn't know existed until I started doing this. So doing it for the reasons that are valuable. I'm not getting rich with money on podcasting. I'm getting rich with experiences for podcasting.
oh, that's adorable.
And I am totally going to steal your idea of doing dishes in a bikini for views. That's next on my list. But you're right. Like as someone who's not that engaged with sports, like I can follow a little bit, and someone who knows a little bit about bourbon, but not that much. This is a great way to just access conversation and get to talk to people and learn a little bit of something along the way. So yeah,
No,
yeah.
I agree.
Now I just need to find a bikini that fits.
I mean, well, no, I've learned a lot about AI since doing these shows. I mean, I'll definitely say I've learned a lot about how to best utilize AI. Funny.
So we're ahead of the times, man. I tell you, we've been talking about this stuff years before everybody
And
thought,
in years to
before it
come,
was cool.
I can't wait to 2030 when it was like, so guys, what have we learned? And Barney will be like, I learned how to utilize AI, and that's not going anywhere.
I told you it's not going anywhere. It's really not going anywhere.
Oh, that was a good call. That was a good call. Um, so obviously we're staring to the face of 2026. So what are we looking forward to in the new year?
Living another year. I mean, I think it's just a matter of how do we improve ourselves? How do we improve our show? How do we improve our style of interviewing if that's what we do? How do we improve graphics, promotion? Jeff, you still got to like all of your posts and post on more social media platforms. I'm just saying that'll be a good New Year's resolution for yourself and for traversing the stars in season 5. But I think I'm going into my 19th year in August. Like I've been doing this far too long. I don't know if I'm going to make it to 20. We'll see. I probably will because spite is a powerful emotion. But I think it's just a matter of how can we improve ourselves as people. If we're learning something every month, that's awesome. If we're learning a skill, that's even better. But how are we going to improve our interactions with people? Because 2026 can't be as bad of a dumpster fire as 2025. But
Of course I can.
I'm
Look at you
Canadian, so
optimistic. What the hell,
I
dude?
mean, I'm Canadian, so we take it as it goes.
Let's do Jason next.
Yeah, I mean, I have been following kind of the genre path into horror, so that's an area that I'm exploring more now. I'd like to get more folks in that genre on. I was never that much of a horror fan growing up, but the past year or two, probably because of the dumpster fire of 2025, has kind of led me to that genre. So I'd like to expand more that way. Always reading more, always learning more. I'd like to go to a Stoker Con at some point. That's on the list and do a little travel, meet some folks outside of Zoom here and there. But that's kind of the direction that I'm heading in. And right now, I've interviewed a lot of folks in the comic space. I have Rich Tomaso is going to be my January 1st chat. So, still talking with people in the world of comics and hoping to uncover some more gold there and share about what people are doing in the Kickstarter space or the big two DC Marvel space or wherever it happens to be.
All right, Barney, you're up.
So what I'm going to do is I got inspired by listening to NPR. They have this lady that when I came on the show they have here in Vermont Public Radio where she has a hat and there's like 5 cards or something, and then they draw it up and they have to answer the question. And so there's like, so I'm thinking about doing something with my show after, so starting in episode 501 is pivot the platform into doing something different that is more segmented, because right now it's stream of conscious conversations that happen. And so I'm uh I believe I'm going to be switching it up into, and I interview authors, I interview comic book artists, I interview children's book authors. So pivoting it into figuring out what platform I can do. Like one idea that I'm playing with is have one section of the conversation called your first 5 pages, talking about the first 5 pages of your book, and just making something where it just uh, seems more segmented so it's easier to digest in the way that when I do create segments on short form, it's easy to have those stand out. So that's what I'm looking at. So, yeah.
I guess for me, well, like I said, I'm excited for my Star Trek junket. So I'm going to experience, I think my second ever press junket. So I'm
Nice.
trying to figure out how this works and get back and get into that world a little bit. Um, I'm just trying to figure out a better podcast life balance where I can both do the shows I want to do and not have my wife want to kill me for being like, "Hey, she's home tonight." Well, I got an interview. Sorry, I'll come back later. And try to get that life balance better. Trying to get hopefully growth, which would be important. Not just growth in numbers, but growth in guests. I like to have, make it to the next level of guests as well. Trying to get better at, I think, saying no to the guests I don't want to talk to and say yes to the guests, find the guests that I really do want to chat with. Um, so that's something I'm really looking forward to. And, you know, my massaging my ego with views and subscribers and stuff, because obviously I'm an egoist like most of us. So that's like a goal of mine as well. And yeah, that's kind of the stuff I'm hopefully looking forward to. Hopefully a bigger fifth year than a fourth year in viewing viewership, um, in short views, and in guest level. But those are my goals.
Good thing you said ego.
Well, I think we all got egos. I mean, we're podcasters. There's something. I mean, come on. We are people who professionally talk about things with ourselves as being the main attraction. That's ego right there.
Well, you said massaging your ego. I'm just like, oh, good thing you said ego. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, certainly. Thanks, Kurt. You're journeying up this beautiful, pleasant little experience that we're all having. But all right, so that's fantastic, guys. So we've been about an hour, so let's do our outros and we'll call it.
I'll let
We'll
Jessica
start
go.
with Barney. Let's do Barney first.
I don't have an outro, remember?
Make a goddamn outro,
It's been
Barney.
5 years,
AKA
Barney.
I know. So you're listening to Two Geeks Traversing the Stars, so tune in for
Barney, come on.
Freaking Barney.
Let's
All right.
do a proper intro.
All right, yes. I got an intro, but I don't have an outro. It's
It's the
just
same
like,
as your outro. Just do it.
all right. You've been listening. Okay, welcome to Storycomic Presents. What I have, man. Okay, I was like, welcome to Storycomic Presents. We're interview. Man, let me pull it up. I actually have it written out here. Welcome to Storycomic Presents, where we interview amazing storytellers and artists. This is episode blah blah blah. I'm your host, Barney Smith of Storycomic.com. I'm excited to have with us the internationally acclaimed and award-winning podcast hosts Jason DeHart, Jeff Haas, and Kurt Sasso. There.
Okay.
That was good. That was
Yeah.
very professional. Jason, you're up.
Yeah. I usually say something like, many thanks for the conversation. It's been wonderful talking with you. The door is always open, and may the conversation and creating continue. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and anywhere fine podcasts are sold and consumed. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. Anybody else Blue Sky? You in the back there? Blue Sky.
All right, you're up there, Kurt.
Well, this has been an episode of Traversing the Stars, but of course, my show is called Two Geeks Talking. You can find it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TGT Media. The podcast, search for Two Geeks Talking. That's TWO Geeks Talking, not the number two, the word two. You don't want to go to the other show whatsoever, just saying. Wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, I'm on all social media platforms, either by Kurt Sasso, KURT, or Two Geeks Talking. And I look forward to our chat the next time around.
All right. That was another episode of Versus Stars podcast. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you made it this far and listening, thank you for giving us those listening minutes. And see you again in my next episode. Thank you so much. All right.